Welcome back, everybody. Thanks again for joining me on this crazy little show that I got going on. It was a great weekend for me. My Georgia Bulldogs beat those stupid Gators in that state of Florida. What was the score? 35-7. So I've had a great weekend. I took this week off from work just for other reasons, not football related, but I'm gonna pump out as much content as I can. I'm trying to work for myself here because I'm not trying to work in corporate America forever. And speaking of corporate America, that ties in pretty smoothly with today's topic, of which is in regards to amongst crypto related stocks. Okay, so little backstory: in mid-October of this year, 2021, ProShares started trading the first ever Bitcoin linked ETF available here in the United States. The ticker for this ETF is BITO, BITO. And you can trade this on your favorite exchange like Robinhood, M1, TD Ameritrade, whatever. It's available for you to go purchase right now. And since its inception, it's become the quickest ETF to ever reach over $1 billion, ever. The interest in cryptocurrency is there, and it is really hot right now. So why is this important? Why am I making a video about this? I think an important question to ask is, how is this beneficial to blockchain and cryptocurrency adoption around the world, but especially here in the US? And to answer that question, I think there are three key reasons as to why I think this ETF is a good step towards moving this technology forward, towards adoption. And if you're watching my channel and if you're like me, you would agree. I mean, that's a very good thing, and that's something that we all want to see, right? So the first key reason is that the ETF was only available after the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, allowed this investment vehicle to be created in the first place. And the reason they allowed it this time around, because other companies have tried to create some type of investment vehicle for Bitcoin on the US stock exchange. This time is different because it trades Bitcoin futures. So this ETF specifically doesn't hold any Bitcoin, and therefore the investors aren't investing on the spot price, but rather the futures price of Bitcoin. This is typically how commodities trade in general as well, like coal and oil. But I think that this is important because it shows that the SEC is at least moving in the right direction of allowing cryptocurrencies to be available to a wider audience within the US. So I think that's a good thing. The second key reason why I think this ETF is a step forward in the right direction is that this ETF by ProShares, plus all the other ones that will come about soon in the near future, it allows people who want to have some Bitcoin exposure in their investing portfolio without having to take all the extra steps involved with acquiring Bitcoin. That includes A, setting up an account with a crypto exchange, and B, taking all the necessary steps in order to safeguard those crypto assets just in case something happens, to the user. And of course, A and B put together, if you don't do one of those two things correctly, you have the risk of possibly losing all of your assets, whereas those safeguards are put in place for stocks that are more heavily regulated. So there are people who don't want to do all those extra things, but now can finally invest and possibly make money with Bitcoin without having to worry about owning any, which is fine for a lot of people. They want to have the success of Bitcoin, but they just don't want to take the extra necessary steps and possible risks that come with it. And then my final third reason on why I think the BITO ETF is good, maybe a reach, but hear me out. The day after BITO went live, Bitcoin's price hit an all-time high the very next day on October 20th of $66,900. So the number of people who purchase BITO doesn't impact the price of Bitcoin directly the same way when people buy more Bitcoin, the purchase goes up, auction style. Because a lot of people were purchasing BITO, that the ETF was even available in the first place, that made the sentiment better for people who wanted to buy Bitcoin. That sentiment became better, the optimism became better, the future looked brighter. That's what makes people want to purchase an asset, in this case Bitcoin, and that's what made the price go up, I think, the very next day. So if that is the case, if this ETF and the decisions that the SEC is making around Bitcoin and cryptocurrency adoption in the US helps make purchases of cryptocurrency have a more positive outlook, then that helps the price. And that's why I think that this final reason is a good step as well towards adoption of this technology. So now that you have some inkling of information on these new crypto related investments available on the stock market, I want to spend the second portion of this video talking about some other crypto related stocks that have been available for a while, and the returns on some of these have been really astounding. So while this isn't going to be like a fully comprehensive list of what's available out there, it's just a list of some popular ones in different sectors. Now, all of these sectors have performed a little differently from one another. Some of them have done much better. So don't go ahead and just start buying the first thing that you see on here. Make that decision on your own, but first look at the returns that I'm about to show you and then make that decision. So the first category of crypto related stocks I want to go over are exchanges. These are exchanges that have gone public and offer cryptocurrencies for purchase on their platform. And on this list, I have Robinhood and Coinbase. Now, this is a sector I would actually stay away from. Their returns haven't kept up with the S&P 500. As you can see here for Robinhood, it did well at first and then not so much. And then this is what the price has done this year. And then the same thing. And then the same thing here for Coinbase. Year to date, they have been matched up with the S&P 500, and their price has rebounded almost back to their IPO price. So this may be something to look at in the future, but for right now, I would stay away from it. There are plenty of other better choices. The second sector I want to focus on are payment processing companies, and these have been doing a lot better. And two that I want to focus on are Square and PayPal. Both of these companies definitely didn't start out in crypto, but both have done a great job adopting it and implementing it into their applications so that more people have access to it. Cash App, which is owned by Square, they started offering purchases of Bitcoin at the end of 2017, and their crypto related business accounts for close to $2 billion in revenue for them every year. PayPal started offering a few of the top cryptocurrencies on their platform in 2020, and as you can see, for most of the year, they've been beating the S&P 500. Ooh, that looked bad. But for their price, you can see that their price has done good for the year. So I think that's still a pretty decent buy. These two companies are huge within the financial tech industries, and both of them, adopting crypto so early onto their platforms let me know that they are open to change and willing to embrace progress for the betterment of, their company and all their users within society that use it. So I think that that's why their stock price has done so well in the past and why they will continue to do so well in the future. The next sector we'll highlight are actual mining companies. Riot Blockchain is based in the US, I think in Denver or Colorado, and Hut 8 Mining, which is based in Toronto, Canada. These companies typically do well when Bitcoin does well, and when Bitcoin doesn't do so well, it also doesn't do so well. So I don't think this is a sector you really need to get into in your stock portfolio if you're already purchasing Bitcoin. But again, if you're one of those people who want to benefit from the success of Bitcoin without purchasing any, I think this is probably one of the better routes to go to actually invest in the mining companies. And the last sector that I want to talk about is the semiconductor industry. Crypto mining requires, of course, really powerful GPU in order to pump out more profit. And these companies are these are the two biggest companies that are making that, NVIDIA and AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. So apart from the huge interest in crypto mining, there's also been the pandemic, right? Have you heard of it? Think about how many people are at home creating their own computers now. These things have been hard to find for years now. So even though Ethereum, which is the second biggest cryptocurrency, they are moving away from mining, the biggest one of them all, Bitcoin, I don't think that that's going anywhere. So mining will still be around for the foreseeable future. And so mining equipment, i.e. NVIDIA and AMD devices, GPUs, those will be companies that'll stick around making all this stuff as well for a while. Plus, I don't think, the PC master race is going anywhere anytime soon. Well, those are all the stocks that I wanted to cover. I think that gives you those are all the stocks that I wanted to cover. I think that gives you a pretty well-rounded idea, exposure to the cryptocurrency market. Well, those are all the stocks that I wanted to cover. I think that if you end up purchasing any of these, that'll give you a pretty well-rounded, exposure to the cryptocurrency market without having to buy an actual single coin. I think this is not necessarily investing advice directed towards everyone, even me. I'd rather just purchase the variety of coins that I'm interested in order to diversify that way. But I know that that's not advice that works for everyone. So that's why, I made this video to hopefully give advice to at least a couple of people who were looking to invest into cryptocurrencies in an alternative way. So yeah, if you've been enjoying this content, if you like this video, please subscribe. I noticed that most of my viewers aren't subscribed to me, so that makes me sad. But yeah, my channel has been growing the last couple weeks. So that has me pretty pumped to continue to work on this channel. So your subscription goes a long way. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Peace.